bienvenidos a Generación Latina. This is an MCTV program that highlights the voices and the passions of Latino students here at Montgomery College. Con nosotros hoy tenemos a Iskandar. ¿Cómo estás, Iskandar?
Muy bien, mucho gusto.
Pues, un gusto tenerte aquí. Cuéntanos tu nombre, ¿ok? Es lo que más me llamó la atención al comienzo, como que no, yo nunca jamás había oído un nombre así. ¿De qué? Cuéntanos el background, digamos.
Bueno, mi madre y mi padre, I'm blanking on the word.
It's okay.
Parents. A mi padre le gusta mucho la historia. He's a history nut. So he actually found that Iskandar was the Persian variant of the name Alexander, Alejandro Magno. So, and my mom thought that it sounded okay because she wanted something that could translate into Spanish and English. And all the other names were very one-dimensional.
Pues cuéntanos, ¿cómo creciste? ¿Tú creciste en varios países?
En varios. Yo nací aquí en Virginia, pero mudamos a Perú cuando yo tenía, ¿cuántos años? 7 años. Vivimos en Lima por 5 años. Eso es de donde viene mi madre. Entonces vivimos ahí, eso es donde yo viví cerca de mis abuelos, y desde ahí nos fuimos a Egipto, a Cairo, por 3 años, y después de eso a Estambul, donde gradué, y ahora aquí.
Okay. ¿Qué te trae a Montgomery College? Yo sé que es una pregunta un poco complicada, but that's okay. You have a very, I want to get into this journey, because it sounds like, you know, I understand you hit a wall, but you kind of had a fresh start here. So how does it all come together?
In high school, I was not very academically focused. I've always been much more creatively focused, and that can be both a good thing and a bad thing. It helped a lot with my, writing development, but it definitely did not help in the classroom, especially in classes I didn't like. So my first year in college, I came to Massachusetts, actually, and I did very poorly because I was not mentally equipped to, hunker down on the academics. So I was actually out of school for half a year before realizing that, education is super, super valuable going forward in life, and that having a better one means basically, being able to have a better life down the road. So I decided, I have to go back. I want to start somewhere where I can get back into education without overbearing myself and slowly climb that ladder into productivity, and then, be able to transfer to a school where I can really get the most out of the education. So that's why I came here.
You're now a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
So how did you go from you're nearly flunking out to now being a 4.0? What kind of setup does MC offer you that you were able to make that 180 turn?
Montgomery College has flexibility of courses. A really cool thing about this school is that there are prerequisites to graduate, but especially if you're coming here, such as I am, to take courses basically just to get amounts of credits for transfer and to build a better resume academically. This school is very flexible when it comes to which classes you can take and what you want to pursue. First off, the affordability, and second, the flexibility of this school helped me not only come here and take classes that I would want and not worry about going into debt, but also classes that I'm actually interested in. And I didn't have to take a math class. I could just focus on history or art or whatever.
Or mythology.
Or mythology, yeah.
So your passion is in writing.
Yes.
And you're a published poet.
Yes.
Correct? So congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me, what does poetry mean to you, and why do you love writing so much?
To me, poetry offers, and writing in general offers, basically a window into the world. I don't remember who said it, but it rings very true that a book is a passport, that you can go anywhere with one, and that you can, I was like, well, I want to be an astronaut and a firefighter and a forest ranger and an actor. So I'll just be a writer. That way I can be all of them. I can write about everything, read about everything.
You've got this incredible experience growing up, absorbing different cultures, languages, ethnicities. How do you then connect with your Latino roots?
First off, I'm very thankful for how I grew up. I think that exposure to cultures is very important to me. I think it's integral to people in general. Obviously, not everybody's going to get the same opportunities, but expose yourself to as much as you can. It's really developed my writing, especially poetically, in the sense of identity, because in living in different countries and in absorbing different ways of being and religions and ways of life, one comes to reflect on how they live theirs. And, especially nowadays, grappling with being half Latino and having lived in Latino America, but also outside of it, and being a Spanish speaker, and weirdly enough, never, because of the travel, never really having a place to call home. I've always been moving, so I am Latino and I am American, but I feel like neither one at the same time. So it's a helpful foothold for me to go off and explore who I am in relation to culture.
So, favorite author latinoamericano.
Latinoamericano.
¿Qué recomiendas?
¿Contemporáneo o clásico? Bueno, a mí me gusta mucho la poesía de José Ángel Aragús, que es un contemporáneo. También es latinoamericano, pero mexicano, creo. Y él explora qué es ser un latino americano, o sea, en América, aquí en Estados Unidos, y ser claramente latino, as opposed to me, my father's half American, so I end up, everyone just thinks I'm a white person, but the exploration of how race influences culture and how one cannot mask race and how that follows him everywhere. So, very, very interesting poet.
Excelente. Pues te quiero agradecer muchísimo por tu tiempo. Tienes clases a las que tienes que correr, así que muchas gracias por ti y bueno, por todo lo que estás contribuyendo a MCTV, ahora que también estás trabajando con nosotros.
Muchas gracias.
Un gusto. Ya regresamos con más aquí en Generación Latina.
El éxito profesional comienza en Montgomery College. Obtén la educación que necesitas para el trabajo que quieres y ahorra hasta un 50% en costos de matrícula en comparación con otras universidades. Comienza tu futuro ahora en Montgomery College.
¿Sabrías reconocer si tú o un amigo o amiga sufre de ansiedad o de depresión? Pues presta atención que Ramón de la Cruz nos trae más información sobre salud mental.
Hi, my name is Ramon de la Cruz. I'm the Central Services Building Coordinator at our CT building at Montgomery College, as well as mentor for our ALMA, Advancing Latino Male Achievement Program, club advisor for MC Outdoor Adventures, and professional mentor for our MC World Ensemble in our music department. Some of the signs you want to look out for, some red flags for students who are having challenges with mental health issues or experiencing anxiety and depression. First thing you want to look out for is changes in behavior, changes in attendance in class, changes in personal hygiene and personal care, changes in conversation and relationship. If you have a relationship with your student, you can pretty much tell when that relationship goes out of touch, and make sure you check in at times. If you see somebody breathing heavily rather, if you see somebody stressing, turning in assignments late, asking for more accommodations without having an accommodation letter on file, these are all red flags that something may be going on besides just challenges with academics. So if a student has a panic attack, first, you want to assess the situation to make sure that it's something you can handle, that it's actually a panic attack. If it is, you can intervene with a simple exercise by having the student take a breath, Personally, I think that stress causes a physiological reaction in the body to hold your breath. And that increases the sense of crisis and sense of anxiety, which contributes to depression and ongoing mental illness. So there are different strategies. The strategy for the moment is to find a way to reconnect with your peace, which means being active in searching for your peace in your day and not waiting till you get to a crisis situation. Sharing that peace as a faculty member, as a staff member with the student. And as a student, being aware of things that trigger these reactions in you and what coping mechanisms work best for you. Mental health is a case-by-case issue. There's not a one-size-fits-all for a resolution for it. And there may not be a resolution for it. Mental health may be simply something as similar to physical health, where you go to the gym every day to maintain that health. Well, same thing with mental health. I think we need to come to a point with our society where we can accept it to a point where, hey, I need this mental health exercise to keep myself healthy and not just a crisis reaction. On campus, we have many resources at Montgomery College. You have club advisors like myself. You have professors who are invested in your success. You have actual coaches and ATPA program, which is Achieving the Promise Academy. We have niche programs for certain groups that show challenges with completing their higher education academic matriculation, such as Boys to Men, which is our African American affinity group to create support for that group. And on the brother side of that is ALMA, which is Advancing Latino Male Achievement, providing support for Latino males, Latinx students here at Montgomery College. Besides those programs, you have actual social programs with the Offices of Student Life. You can join the Outdoor Adventures Club. You can join the Chess Club, the Smash Brothers Video Game Club. Whatever outlet you connect to for peace, for stress relief, for relaxation, that's a great resource for you to engage in. So creating healthy habits for yourself to deal with those moments of anxiety and depression and mental health challenges. For faculty members, we also have a behavioral intervention team, the BIT team, and you can find more out about that on montgomerycollege.edu. We also have the student assistant program here at the college, and the Ombuds, which is open for anyone to come and talk to, determine what issues are, and provide resources to support mental health challenges and illnesses. Anxiety and depression manifest themselves differently in all people. Anxiety in one person might be the inability to communicate in public or a public forum. It might be someone always sitting in the back of the class and not engaging because they may be introverted. They may feel claustrophobic, or they may have a social phobia that stops them from engaging fully in class. Dr. Pollard has a great philosophy of radical inclusion. So if you are a faculty member, you are a staff member, reach out to a student. Take that upon yourself. Take that challenge upon yourself to improve the life of our student body, of our community at the college.
Estás viendo Generación Latina.
La motivación por la cual hemos traído a los estudiantes a este Museo de Historia Nacional Estadounidense es precisamente porque la exhibición a la democracia se presta perfectamente a la discusión del bilingüismo que hemos tenido en MC y en esta clase para bilingües, y es una manera para que el estudiante participe de forma cívica, académica, y ver en carne propia pues artefactos culturales que han formado nuestra democracia.
Aprendí muchas cosas, por ejemplo, de que si una persona se propone hacer un cambio y el cambio que trata de proponer es bueno y beneficia a muchas personas, con sacrificio y mucho esfuerzo se logra hacer los cambios. Cuando estuvimos viendo el video de los 4 chicos que se sentaron a almorzar y que no les servían comida, ellos no se dieron por vencido, ellos siguieron yendo al mismo restaurante hasta que se hizo algo muy popular en la ciudad y las demás personas lo apoyaron porque era por una buena causa. A través de la historia de Estados Unidos siempre hubieron divisiones y siempre han habido muchas personas queriendo quitar esas divisiones, y ahora a la mayoría de inmigrantes latinoamericanos los están considerando como segunda clase. Pero el poder adquisitivo de los latinos se está incrementando y se está empezando.
Según el Pew Research Center, el número de votantes hispanos ha aumentado por 4 millones en los últimos 4 años.
El español para bilingües o para hablantes de herencia 106 es un curso diseñado para aquel estudiante que es de origen hispano o tiene alguna crianza con el idioma español y tiene el deseo de ampliar sus destrezas, es decir, quiere mejorar su escritura, quiere ampliar su vocabulario, quiere crecer en el idioma en general y quiere profundizar su habilidad de mantener una conversación o mantener una interacción plenamente en español sin tener que cambiar entre el inglés y el español.
Según el censo del 2010, el 21% de los estadounidenses hablan otro idioma además del inglés. Para el 55% de los estadounidenses bilingües, el segundo idioma es español.
En esta clase, además, también está dirigida a aquel estudiante o aquella estudiante que esté interesada en explorar su propia cultura e identidad cultural y además llegar a algunas conclusiones propias en cuanto al valor de esa identidad cultural en un mundo donde el inglés domina.
Yo le recomiendo esta clase a otros, los que están interesados a tomar una clase de español. El profesor es muy amable, da mucha información, les ayuda con mucho gusto. Esta visita sí, le da mucha información también. Les enseña qué pasó sobre la historia y lo que pueden cambiar.
Para Generación Latina, desde Washington, D.C., Silvia Samayoa.
Gracias por ver Generación Latina. Si quieres contar tu historia, no dudes en contactarnos al email que ves en la pantalla. Nos vemos la próxima.